because he comes up to them. Right? Stop. Parking while black now? Are you embarrassed to be with your mom?
I separate family and spectators.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Hardy.
Good morning. How you doing?
Mr. Hardy, you're charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Shh. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On November 22nd, 2024, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle parked more than 18 inches from a curb on a public roadway in the right lane of a two-way road in Harris County, Texas. While the officer ran the motor vehicle, the passenger side door opened, a black female exited, and the female approached the patrol vehicle. The officer made contact with the female and observed a strong odor of marijuana emanating from the female. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle, and observed a strong odor.
Right away, this case raises a serious legal question. Probable cause. The defense is essentially challenging whether the officer had a valid reason to even approach the vehicle in the first place. Parking more than 18 inches from the curb sounds minor, almost trivial, and this is where things get interesting. The defense hints at a deeper concern. Was this a legitimate stop, or was it something else? When the phrase parking while black comes up, it introduces the idea of selective enforcement, which courts take very seriously. Now, legally speaking, even a minor traffic violation can justify police contact, but the timeline matters. Did the officer approach first, or did the passenger approach the officer? Because that difference can determine whether the search that followed was lawful. This moment is critical, because if the initial interaction wasn't justified, everything that comes after could be challenged.
Your Honor.
Is it parking while black now? Come on.
Your Honor, there's no time listed. It just says the officer was on patrol around the 3518 block of Arbor Glen Drive when he observed the vehicle parked more than 18 inches from the curb.
And so he goes up to the car because of that?
No, Your Honor, a female passenger side exited the passenger side and approached their vehicle, and he observed a marijuana from
But because he comes up to them. Right? Stop.
Now we're getting into the evidence, and it's significant. The officer reports a strong odor of marijuana, which in many jurisdictions can establish probable cause for a vehicle search. And once that search happens, the amount and packaging become key factors. Multiple baggies, different containers, even a burnt cigar. All of this suggests more than casual possession. The reported weight of 54 grams is also important because it may influence whether the charge stays as simple possession or escalates further. But here's the key question for viewers. Does the legality of the search depend entirely on the odor? Or should the initial reason for the encounter still matter? Because if that first step is flawed, the defense could argue that all this evidence should be thrown out.
Are you losing?
The officer wrote as he ran the vehicle, presumably the license plate.
Right, he pulls him over.
They were already parked on the side of the road 18 inches from the curb, and he came, I guess, parked behind, and he was running the vehicle, and then the passenger side door opened, a black female exited and approached his vehicle, the patrol vehicle, and he observed an odor of marijuana on the female, and then he made contact with the driver, where he observed marijuana odor in the vehicle. So the female approached the patrol vehicle.
Show me in the penal code that code. What is the penal code for that?
Regarding the 18 inches from the curb, sir, is that the issue of what we're talking about?
Yeah, because they come to him because he comes to them. Right, they're just parked. He comes to them. It's got to be a transportation code, not penal code, you know?
And Your Honor, regarding the timeline of events, it does appear that when they were parked that distance away, which could be arguably further, I don't know what it looked like at that time, but the female passenger is the one who exited first, and that was before officers ever made contact with them. So I don't know if you were thinking that the officers approached them first, but I just wanted to clarify that she approached first.
What time of day or night was this?
Trying to see that, Your Honor, in a second. 4 in the morning.
And Your Honor, I
4 in the
found,
morning.
4:30 a.m.
And you can delineate at 4 in the morning that parking 18 inches from a curb.
and I found the regulation, the statute in the
Mm-mm.
transportation code where it says you have to park within 18 inches.
At 4 in the morning, you can tell.
Your Honor, the officer was,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't think so. All right, I'm going to find no probable cause.
Yes,
All
Judge.
Guys, be careful, right? You know, they're always out there. Just be careful. Do something with your life. Knowledge is power. Get into school, get an education, do something with your life. Life is hard as it is. And it only gets more difficult the older you get. All right? Okay, guys, please.
And we'll be sure to call the officer on this case to
Whatever you need.
understand why he did, in fact, pull them over for this amount of space.
This is where the courtroom dynamic becomes intense. The judge is questioning the practicality of enforcing a rule like 18 inches from the curb, especially in the dark at 4:30 in the morning. And you can feel the tension. The defense is pushing back, trying to highlight inconsistencies, while the judge is trying to clarify the sequence of events. Moments like this are what make courtroom proceedings so compelling. It's not just about the law. It's about interpretation. How reasonable was the officer's observation? How reliable is the timeline? And most importantly, does this situation meet the legal threshold for probable cause? Because if it doesn't, the entire case could unravel.
Coaching on Treadwell, Brianna Treadwell.
Treadwell, okay.
Homes here.
It's not old.
It's not, no, it's, but this is more so addressing the conditions that TRAS recommends.
Oh, she has 2 open DWIs.
Yes.
Right. What are they?
Went from September and October.
So they probably want inpatient treatment. You know, and I'm going to tell you that Brianna Treadwell, come up.
This way, ma'am.
Hey, and I'm so glad that Mr. Butler, you're here because come up. Every time, I mean, I can't be that conclusive, but so many times when we do a TRAS, because I have clinicians that interview people and make recommendations, so many times when I don't follow those conditions, I get burned. I had one today that recommended inpatient treatment on an individual. He now put 2 people in the hospital and picked up a 3rd DWI, a felony DWI, and he's sitting in custody at a $75,000 bond because I didn't follow the TRAS that recommended inpatient treatment. And now 2 people are in the hospital, serious injuries because of it. Another gentleman here back there, we did a TRAS, I didn't follow it, picks up another DWI with another pending, and then just, the TRASs are there for a purpose. We have professionals, we have clinicians that interview and make a call what they think the best outcome is for a certain individual. Now, you have 2 open DWIs, and they take all these things into consideration, how to move forward with the case, because believe it or not, we want the best for you. We want you to leave better than you came here. And just so many times when I deviate from that TRAS, we end up getting burned. I can't tell you over and over and over. And that's the last thing that we want. What did it recommend? Yeah.
So, Your Honor, Ms. Treadwell, she has 2 young daughters. One of them special needs, who requires occupational therapy and speech therapy. That happens once a week. The other one is middle school aged. Ms. Treadwell, she was in custody for about a month and a half, I believe. And it was very difficult, extremely difficult for her family to even try to coordinate things with her daughters. And then as well to keep Miss Treadwell with her home. And so Miss Treadwell, she needs to work. She has bills, as everyone does, and all of these other circumstances with the children. It at least looking at it from Miss Treadwell's perspective, it seems impossible for her to go into treatment inpatient, and it's hard to see that other side. What is that other?
Now the timeline becomes everything. The defense clarifies that the passenger approached the officer first, not the other way around. That detail might seem small, but legally it's huge. If the officer didn't initiate contact, then the encounter may not be considered a stop at all, which changes how the law applies. From there, the odor of marijuana gives the officer grounds to investigate further. This is exactly how cases are won or lost, not on big dramatic moments, but on small, precise details like who approached whom and when. So let me ask you, do you think this changes the legality of the search? Or
The side looked like for her, and so the kids were staying with her parents. Her mother just got surgery, hip surgery, and they broke her femur in doing so. So she's out of commission. Her brother was staying with her parents at the time. He is about to now move to Chicago as of next week. So they don't have the same system as they had in place while she was in custody. She was very much in custody based on, her parents believe that, this was an issue. Just as, on its face, you're looking at it, it's definitely an issue. Is not to say that she has paid her price at all, but and her intention is to do what's needed. She has explored all of these options, with respect to even with the is it Vivitrol or Vivitrol. She has explored options through Access. So she has been making those steps. My belief is that she has, I don't want to say learned her lesson, but she has.
I don't believe it for a second.
Well,
I'm telling you, I mean, she has 2 open DWIs.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I deviate from the TRASs, we get burned. And now, just today, 2 people in the hospital because we deviated from the SATIF, and homeboy picked up a 3rd DWI.
Yeah, and I was made aware of that
So-
prior to us even approaching.
Last thing I want is for you, because the idea of Hue is that you are able to learn how to deal with the stresses and the stressors in your life so that alcohol, substances don't become a coping mechanism, right? And I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, actions have consequences. And I understand that, you have a lot of things in your life that are going on now. The only thing I can tell you is that your case is only 118 days old, so it's not too old. I will give you time, right, so that you can get everything in order. But I'm going to be very hard pressed to move away from the TRAS.
Understood.
Just we have time, right? So you have a couple months. I'm willing to give you a couple months to, get things in order, but you have 2 open DWIs. The last thing we want is you to go kill someone, end up with a felony charge, because I'm telling you, the next one, you're looking at 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. If you think Hue for a month and a half is bad, that you're gone, consider 10 years. That's the next. So there's nothing that needs to be done immediate at this point. We've got time. Time is on your side for now, but that time's going to run. And the other thing is is that from what I've learned being here, the longer you take to address, the worse things become. So we can reset at 30 days, okay? But at some point we have to address it, right? So just be ready, okay? How long is the Hue program?
The wait list for Hue is a week.
Okay, and then, but actual Hue, the actual program, how long is it? When you're in? Wow, 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
So 3 if you're responsive?
And 6 months it takes a little bit.
So be ready. I'm sorry, man, but you've got time. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Please.
Now we shift from legal debate to something more personal. The judge addressing the defendants directly. And this is where you see a different side of Courtroom. The judge isn't just enforcing the law. He's trying to mentor, talking about education, life choices, and the harsh reality that things only get harder with age. This kind of moment is powerful because it shows the human side of the justice system. Judges see repeat offenders, missed opportunities, and lives going off track. And sometimes they use the courtroom as a place to try and redirect people before it's too late. It's not just about punishing.
So you're working?
Yes, sir.
Hey, good job. You know, I'm happy that you're working. If you need more time to be able to get home, what's a good time? Like how long does it take you to get home from?
It takes like at least like 25 to 30 minutes.
Now we're just gonna wait on that for you. Now it's just.
Is that right, Anna? Is it that far? How do you get home?
Normally I walk or I Uber home.
Okay. You want to do 10:30, 10:45? That 10:45 is the latest.
Okay.
Okay. And what days do you work?
I work. It depends, cause now it was that during that time it was seasonal.
But
So
now you're on full time?
no, I'm on full time, but now they're cutting the hours to like 8 or 9 hours. So it'd be like eight hours a week or so.
But it's not consistent where you work Monday and Wednesday.
No,
Why don't you look for something more steady, give you more hours?
And you're in school, right?
Yes.
He's in school.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Let's do that. We'll give you the 12:45. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
but I thought I was supposed to be off by next time I come.
Be off what?
The ankle monitor.
So he's gonna have to see that you're,
I want to see that you're still doing well after a while. And then when you are, then we'll do it.
Okay.
All right. All right, man.
Judge, could
All right.
you repeat that survey for me?
10:45.
10:45 to 6?
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Anna. Yes, ma'am.
okay, thank you.
Now we're looking at a completely different level of seriousness, repeat DWI offenses. And the judge makes it very clear. This is not something to take lightly. 2 open DWI cases already put this defendant in a dangerous position legally. But beyond that, the judge shares real examples. People getting hurt, cases escalating, lives being changed permanently. This isn't hypothetical. This is real-world consequence. The court is emphasizing treatment, evaluation, and structure programs because the goal is to stop the cycle before it leads to tragedy. And when the judge says, the next one could be a felony, that's not a warning, that's a reality. So here's the question. Should courts prioritize punishment or rehabilitation in cases like this?
Parker, please.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning.
Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense. This is a Class A misdemeanor. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. It looks like it's being reduced to a first,
That's true.
right? So now you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. But what you need to understand still in the eyes of the law, this is number 2. And if you pick up another one, you'll be facing a third, and a third, you're facing up to 2 years in prison. Up to 10 years in prison, minimum of 2, maximum of 10. If I were you, even if you've had a freaking sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because you're taking a humongous risk. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All officers look, if you smell funky and then they look at your record, that's all they care about. You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported Excluded from the country, deny naturalization under federal law, you give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it will go on your record. You can never take it off. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is what you want to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
For you to complete this, you're entering into a probation with us. It's going to go on your record. This is a straight probation. And for you to complete it successfully, you must do a repeat offender DWI education class. 2 victim impact panels, a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess further conditions, they might. It could be intensive outpatient treatment. It could be supportive outpatient treatment. If they assess further conditions, you must fulfill those conditions. No breath test refusal. So if you were pulled over in a car and you take a breath, an officer asks you to take a breath test, you have to do it. If you don't, you're in violation of the probation. Substance abuse treatment, $100 one-time donation to MAD, no drugs, no alcohol, and a guardian interlock.
This courtroom session highlights something incredibly important. The justice system isn't just about laws, it's about decisions. Every person we saw today is facing consequences based on choices they made, whether it's possession, driving under the influence, or violating court conditions. What stands out is how the judge balances strict enforcement with real-world advice. He's not just handing down rulings. He's warning people about where their path is leading. And in many cases, he's trying to stop them before things get worse. From questioning probable cause to handling repeat offenders, this session shows how complex and human the courtroom really is. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think the judge handled these cases fairly? Or would you have made different decisions? If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful courtroom analysis and real-life legal breakdowns.
Is this how you understand the agreement?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I will find you guilty. I will send it you to the agreement. What do you do in life, Mr. Thompson?
Bartending at a hotel.
Ugh, that's not good.
Judge, he's been on interlock for almost a year now. Portable device blown 3 times a day. He hasn't had one failed test.
Okay.
He hasn't, so he's been doing very well.
My only issue is that temptation is so high when you work in that kind of environment. You know, when you work in the restaurant industry, everyone tends to booze it up. You just got to be very careful, you know. For the next 18 months, you're on paper. You can't do anything. You end up drinking. I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm going to put you in jail. I'm going to bring you back out here and we're going to talk. And it's possible I sentence you and put you in jail for 6 months. You understand?
I understand, yes,
But
sir.
the most important thing is that for the next 50 years of your life, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car and drive because you're going to get hosed. If you thought it was expensive now, wait till you get to felony court. Everything quadruples in cost, time, everything. So what about the fee?
Fine.
Yeah.
For the, on probation?
No. There's a supervisory fee for the DPS surcharge. It's a $6,000 fee.
Attached to a probation? I thought that was only for a straight conviction,
No.
Judge. On a jail time.
It is a conviction.
On a jail time conviction. The state traffic funds for a jail time conviction.
Show me. But from what I understand, with this kind of case, there's a $6,000 surcharge that we're supposed to tack on.
I
The DPS
was
surcharge.
under the impression that the
Show me otherwise. And I
mandatory
won't.
license suspension.
When what they've told me on convictions here, when you plead to a DWI, there's a surcharge. On a first, it's $3,000. On a 15 with a first, it's $4,500. On a second DWI, it's a $6,000
But
surcharge.
technically, because this is charged as a first,
Right. It's, no, you're right. It's 3,000. Is this a 15?
is it a what? How's it flip?
Yeah, it is. Is it true or untrue that you had a 0.15 or above?
Yes, Your Honor.
So true to that enhancement then? Yeah. Okay. So find me that it's not true. Otherwise, I'm, just show me. right, just take a seat for me. We'll be back.
Looking at that, paper. Be right back.
Owen. Hi.
Because we have an arrangement.
This moment shocked everyone. Eyes, hit subscribe on Adam Highlights so you don't miss what's next.